Well, hello everyone, and welcome to, a banner review. Now, we might take a closer look at some of these units in the near future, but wait, near? Oh no, near really is coming this month. Anyway, we're probably going to take a closer look at some of these units, if I actually get any, because it is a Mog King, so you always got to try for at least some bonus units, otherwise the Mog King is horrible. Though I have to admit, with no story and no Esper fight this month, my motivation is pretty low. It's pretty low. But we're going to talk about all of these units today, and we're going to say whether or not this banner's worth it. It's worth it. It's a Mog King. You gotta at least try for some units. So first of all, Cater. Let's talk about Cater really quickly. Interestingly, she does have some interesting abilities for a 5-star max, but most of them do rely on the idea of using a ability the previous turn so that she can get a 6-hit, 200% physical attack in some cases, or for instance a 750% physical attack with a 1-turn delay. Interesting. Or some elemental debuffing abilities, which, I mean, they're okay, but that's just it. Cater is pretty forgettable, and that makes me kind of sad because I really loved her, and I'll be happy to add her to my collection. Let's put it that way. I may give her a full unit review just because I like this character. So deal with it. Wow, that sounded really mean. Sorry. I'm under a lot of stress. Anyway, let's talk about Deuce next. Now, first of all, Deuce has a more interesting trust mastery than Cater does, which is unfortunately fairly forgettable, as I'm pretty sure it's a copy of another 3-star base, so But first of all, Deuce does have an interesting TMR that's a 40% magic increase and a 50% to fire resistance. Generally good combination there, I feel like, if you were, why not magic and fire resistance? But anyway, first of all, Rem does have a lot of singing ability. For instance, an AoE 180% magic attack with 50% extra damage to Reapers. That's kind of cool. She has triple slip, meaning that she can evade damage for 3 physical attacks for 2 turns, so that's pretty similar to the other type O units of having triple slip. She also has AoE 4000%. That has to be a typo. 4000 HP heal with a 25.0 times mod? That can't be a 4000% heal. Split over 2 turns with an AoE 60 MP heal with 0.2 to 5 times mod, while singing split over 2 turns and grants access to another ability. Some generally good healing. She also has a 350% magic attack while singing. That's kind of interesting. Some magic singing songs abilities. She has an AoE 90% to attack and magic for 2 turns, enabling access to another ability, and a 400% magic attack while singing for 2 turns, enabling access to any other ability for 2 turns. Other than that, her passives is a pretty damn short list. 10% to defense, 20% to HP, 30% to magic and spirit when equipped with a harp. Well, at least she gets somewhere it counts, I suppose. And a 20% chance to counter physical attacks with an ability that is a 100% magic attack and fills her limit burst gauge. Other than that, she has Kira and Firaga, pretty damn forgettable, unfortunately. Now, her unlocked abilities are more interesting. 110% defense and spirit buff split over 4 turns, with 160 MP heal split over 4 turns, and a 12,000%, that's gotta be HP, and the percentage is just wrong, heal with a 50 times mod split over 4 turns. So she's a fairly decent although, let's face it, bards are kind of out at the moment. Bard, she's not walking, and honestly, that's worth points, that she's way better than walking. Other than that, she has a AoE 110% attack and magic buff for 4 turns, minus 45% from attack and magic for the enemies for 4 turns. So kind of a budget elfim, I suppose, and I mean, I wouldn't pull hard for that. I wouldn't pull hard for Deuce either, but at least Deuce doesn't require a lot of effort to try and get. And she also has a few other magic attacks, as well as a magic attack with an AoE damage reduction for 4 turns of 30%. Long story short, Deuce is definitely a budget bard, but if you're new to the game, she could be very useful for you. Also, her limit burst is an AoE 124% boost to attack and magic for over 3 turns, and a 850 HP heal with a 6-time mod split over 3 turns, and 10 MP heal, 0.3. I'm not quite sure about these numbers. It doesn't seem quite right. There's also an unknown effect still, so we'll have to wait and see what that's like. Now let's move on to... No, not yet. We're saving the best for last. Machina. Now, Machina, first of all, let's start with the thing I really, really like about him. Natural dual wield, right from the get-go. Makes him a potentially very, very good for starting accounts. Natural dual wield is always beneficial, and also, as it turns out, let's just take a quick, daggers, swords, great swords, and katanas. He has a good range of weapons that are physical, since he's a physical damage dealer. I actually don't think he's the worst we've seen, but we haven't got into the rest. He's poison, blind, and disease resistance. He has 30% extra HP, casting auto heal, and 5% MP per turn, which is good for a damage dealer. 30% to attack and defense, and 20% increase to summon damage. Okay, don't care so much about the summon damage. 50% extra attack, 100% natural limit burst fill rate, and now, getting into his 7-star kit for passive abilities. He has a self 110% attack permanent boost for equipping his TMR. That's kind of really cool, and he also has a 5% physical damage reduction permanently. This seems to be a growing trend here. Also, plus 5% when unarmed at battle start? What? I'm not sure about that. He also gets a limit burst crystal per turn, then an extra 40% attack, 20% MP, 20% spirit, and his last ability, he recovers 5% MP per turn, 150% damage modifier for a whole bunch of his abilities, 75% for one other one, and 40% attack when dual wielding. Figures. Now, he does have some magic. Some. Libra, Curada, and Thundaga, forget it. Just forget it. Now, as for his active abilities, this is kind of interesting. First of all, an AoE 5-hit 300% physical attack, AoE 100% chance to drain some HP. He has an MP drain ability that also on a single target debuffs 70% for defense and spirit for 1 turn. I gotta admit, that seems kind of okay, but it also does a single target 55% debuff for 3 turns, and then a 45% defense spirit debuff for 5 turns. So it's a staggering debuff, which is very interesting. Never seen that mechanic before. Similarly, he has a similar debuff on a different attack, where he debuffs attack and magic for 1 turn at 70%, 3 turns at 55%, and 5 turns for 45%. So that's That's kind of interesting. I like that mechanic. I like that idea very much. Whether it's useful, we'll have to see. From there, he has a 20%, an ability to give 20% physical damage reduction for 3 turns, also 50% chance to counter with 300% physical attack when allies are attacked for 3 turns. So he can protect the party and literally counter for the party. That's kind of cool. Then he also has a 20% magic damage reduction for 3 turns and 100% spirit break resistance for 3 turns in one ability. So reduce the magic damage, can't be broken for spirit. Seems okay. His chaining ability is a single target 8-hit 520% physical attack that debuffs fire, ice, and lightning resistance for 3 turns of 60%. Pretty good. In his 7-star, he has his cool. One of his cooldowns is the Typo classic: kill himself, give the summon gauge. Okay. Nothing really that special at this point in the game. And for his other cooldown ability, on a 6-turn cooldown, available turn 1 though, recover 100% HP and MP, and 100% HP again. Gotta be a typo. Self plus 200% attack for 5 turns. Self minus 30% defense debuff for 5 turns. So he gives himself a lot of attack and decreases his defense. Now, before we go over him real quick, let's talk about his max 7-star limit burst. Single target 12-hit physical attacks at 700%, ignoring 50% defense, and debuffs attack and magic for 79% for 3 turns. It's not bad. It depends if it can chain with Sephiroth or any of the other 12 hitters, but a limit burst very rarely chains. Also, he does have the potential to also, with his other cooldown, or his second cooldown ability, to give himself an extra ability for 4 turns. So even though it's on a 6-turn cooldown, it does give him an ability for 4 turns. That ability is a 500% physical attack, ignoring 50% defense, with 8 hits to it. So it's pretty good. And let's talk lastly about his TMR and Super TMR. First of all, his TMR is kind of weird. It's 150% attack, defense, magic, and spirit for 1 turn, 125% for 2 turns, 100% for 3 turns at the start of battle. So it's basically a buff, a decreasing buff. But that being said, it's still a pretty good TMR because it's a 35% attack bonus when equipped with a sword, 10% HP, 15% attack when equipped with clothes. So it's still a 50% attack essentially for most characters in the game, with an extra 10% MP and a starting buff of 150%. And the other thing is that it doesn't say when revived, so it's just the start of battle, which is too bad. It could have been potentially really good if we could have just revived and got the thing started again. Now, his TMR is absolutely incredible. 163 attack, dual wield. Well, 163 attack sword with dual wield. I mean, that's really, really, really good, it seems. Other than that, just looking at his abilities, his base attack is only 201, so he's not going to be challenging a lot of the top damage dealers. He just seems like a very good, solid unit, kind of like when CG Reagan came out. Incidentally, he can chain with CG Reagan and not Holy Explosion. But honestly, this is what we have been building up to. We are going to talk about the main man for this entire Mog King event, Kurasame. Kurasame, I just might go for this guy. First of all, I think he could be very, very good. We'll see, but he is a hybrid attacker, and he is Ice Elemental, and I love the Ice Element. So let's start with passes. First of all, he gives himself 30% attack and magic and 5% MP recovery per turn. Beautiful. 20% HP, 150% boost to both attack and magic for 3 turns when his HP falls below 25%. That's gorgeous. That's potentially really, really gorgeous. 30% MP, 100% sleep, paralyze, and confuse resistance. Those are all really good for an attacker. 50% attack, 50% magic, 30% ice resistance. That's really pretty. 20% chance to counter physical attacks with a single target, 30% one-hit kill. If not, then he hits for 300% damage, and a 20% chance to counter magic attacks with the same thing. This guy is potentially amazing for Arena. That counter, you're gonna hit my guy, he's gonna potentially just KO you. Kurasame is pretty badass. Also in his 6-star, he gains the ability to double use many of his attacks. Yeah, we're getting there. For equipping his TMR, which I've already said is just an amazing TMR, 20% to MP, 50% ice resistant, enhances limit burst to an AoE, 100% debuff for ice resistance for 2 turns, and an AoE 3000% hybrid attack with a self 250% boost to attack and magic for 3 turns, also enabling triple cast of his abilities. Oh dear god, and it also casts another ability which gives him a 3 times for 3 turns, enabling him access to that at the start of battle. So at the start of battle, he can triple cast. Pretty good start for an attacker, let me tell you. CG Hayu can't even do that. 20% extra to defense, and last but not least, 20% attack, 20% magic, and a 50% attack, and a 50% magic when two-handing. That's right, he's a true dual hand that gives true dual hand magic bonus. This could be the hybrid damager I've been waiting for. Dare I say, even possibly dreaming for. Magic-wise, he also has Blizzaga, Bar Blizzaga, and Blizzaja. Blizzaja is a much nicer spell because it stacks damage. Bar Blizzaga is just generally nice because it's resistance for the entire team of ice. So I actually really like it. In his attack, however, he has an AoE 800% hybrid attack. That's already really strong for his first ability. A 45 MP AoE 700% hybrid attack with a 20% chance to sleep or petrify. An AoE 700% hybrid attack to 20% chance to confuse or disease. An AoE 90 MP 110 attack and magic for 3 turns, and ice resistance of 70% for the entire party. Beautiful, that's just an amazing ability to be able to use for the party. A single target, minus 100% ice resistance for 1 turn, and a single target, minus 75% ice resistance for 2 turns, and 50% for 3 turns, enabling access to another ability for 2 turns. We'll talk about that ability a little bit later. From there, he has a single target, 1260% hybrid attack. That's just in his 6-star kit, and he gets dual cast because why not? Why not? I mean, you can build him for magic. You might as well. Now, in his 7-star kit, he gains the kill himself and give a summon gauge, which, okay. He has a 120 MP cooldown ability that is on a 9-turn cooldown, available turn 1, self plus 200% attack and magic for 5 turns, 100% ice resistance for 5 turns, add ice to his attacks for 5 turns, enables access to a whole bunch of abilities that he can triple cast, so it basically gives him triple cast for 3 turns. Triple cast for 3 turns, wow. And enables access to another ability, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's the same ability that he can get from another ability he uses, but anyway. And his last ability, and this is the big one, available on turn 6 on a 5-turn cooldown, an AoE 6000% hybrid attack. 6,000%. 6,000. It's pretty damn awesome. Other than that, his linked abilities are, of course, his counter, a single target, 2,400% hybrid attack, another 2,400% hybrid attack, and yeah. Honestly, I gotta admit this guy is just a little bit incredible. He does have triple cast, which is really big. He gains itself for a whole bunch of turns, but the fact that his TMR gives him such an amazing boost to his limit burst, which gives himself triple cast for 3 turns, is a really long time to have triple cast for a hybrid damager that can do this much potential damage. Not to mention, his accessory Trust Mastery reward is a 40 attack, 40 magic accessory with an extra 50% ice resistance. And his Super Trust Mastery, 130 attack, 162 magic sword with the ice element, is basically what this guy wants. I have to admit, this is a hybrid damager that has made me take very good, very big notice. I really think Kurasame is a very high damage dealer. How much damage he can do really depends on setup, what you have available for him, what you can give him. But damn, with this guy with his Super Trust Mastery and his TMR could just be a new level for hybrid damage dealers. Now, of course, it is a Mog King event, so you should probably be pulling for some bonus units. But out of all of them, I have to admit, the clear winner, the clear great thing is Kurasame. Now, if you're not willing to wail, don't worry about it. He's in the summon pool forever. One day, you'll get this absolutely awesome Ice God. Oh yeah, one other thing. He has his victory animation has a Tonberry, and it's the first Tonberry in Brave Exvius. I'm 95% sure of that. 95. Anyway, so it looks to be an interesting Mog King with at least a strong unit and a damn good dual wielder to start a brand new account. And possibly a good booster too. Sucks about Cater. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video when, hopefully, I will be reviewing Kurasame. Till then, guys, have a good one. Let's get this Mog King done. Remember, there's probably a CG unit coming this month. Axstar!